here at the shop. Present were Joe Draxler, Chucky D. Smith, Rick Overmiller, and Sarah McCarthy. Joe called the meeting to order at 7:07 p.m. Motion was made by Chucky to approve minutes of the last meeting, seconded by Rick. Chucky made a motion to pay the month's bills, seconded by Rick. A motion was made by Chucky to pay the same Christmas bonus of $100 to Justin and $50 to Donna. This was seconded by Rick. Caucus will be held at 7 o'clock on January 14, 2003, with the regular meeting to follow. Motion by Chucky, seconded by Rick, to adjourn the meeting at 8:04. And Sarah McCarthy took the notes because I was on.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Motion to approve? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 4 on the agenda is public input. This is for anyone from the township. Anyone at the meeting can speak other than the town board. Or the town board can speak too.
I heard a rumor that you're thinking of buying another truck. Is that true?
We talked about it.
Why?
The situation has changed from 30 years ago. We have so many people that commute. 30 years ago, when milk trucks opened the road, and if it was 2-3 days, it didn't matter. Now, there's so many people that commute out of the township. School is very seldom closed. So we talked about getting another second used truck for a cost around $20,000-$25,000 to help get roads open when we have a lot of snow. And we've tabled that one.
A few times that you have a very good snowstorm, I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
Especially when you just sitting there. An expense that's just sitting.
Okay. Anyone else? Scott?
I'd just like to let everybody know that Vista Sand has reapplied, and there's copies of the application for each of the 3 board members. It's a much smaller scale plant. The original plant was on 30 or 40 acres, and then we'd be mining 20 acres. The county has interpreted their ordinance, 20 acres, to not only the mine, but also the plant. So now the plant will be on 8 acres, and they'll be mining 12. So it's a scaled down deal, and the truck traffic is going to go west out to 128 and then south to 94. So that's the plan for the truck traffic. It's the engineer's opinion that they've met everything in the St. Croix County ordinance. Because it's so scaled down, now instead of 100 jobs, you're talking about 40 to 60 jobs.
But Scott, when you said the engineers from Vista.
Vista's engineers, which is SEH, who's designed and we've done the application.
Okay.
They're telling me that the application meets every word of St. Croix County ordinance.
Okay.
I'm just telling what they're telling me, I don't know.
Okay. So, I mean, we just got these tonight. When did they apply to the county?
A week ago today.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just picked these books up today, so.
Okay. So the county is reviewing this right now, the new permitting or new proposal.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And it goes to the board of review on 4th Thursday of February, which I believe is the 28th.
Okay.
That'll be a public hearing.
2/28, and that'll be at the courthouse, 9, 10, 11, whatever it's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's in the morning. That's all right.
Okay.
Vista will still honor everything that they said they were going to do, including paying for the upgrade of County Road G from Downing to 128. So they're paying a share of that cost, and I don't know what that is, but it's substantial.
Okay.
They've had made some commitments to the school about monitoring air, and they'll honor every commitment they've made previously. They told me to say that. So what looks like would be going into the local economy on an annual basis should be, at this point, at the $25 a ton. You know, so that will include subcontractors and fuel and payroll and everything. It's going to be anywhere from $6 to $12 million a year.
So before they were talking about 1 million tons.
Well, yes, and the application still talks about 1 million tons, but RJ with Vista does not think that he can do 1 million tons out of this plant. But the application's on the high side,
Okay,
so you know what I'm saying.
okay.
Yeah. He doesn't think with the plant that they can put on 8 acres that they can get 1 million tons a year through that plant.
Okay. And they're still talking about shutting down during the winter?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
So when you say you're gonna go to the freeway, the Dunn County voting is no longer in the
It's my opinion that deal in the town of Menominee by Teigen there is dead.
Okay,
That's my understanding of that.
okay,
He's got some options when he gets to 94 to go east or west.
okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all there is right now.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anybody got any other questions?
I was gonna ask, is that scaled down version of the plant could be the same spot original, that it was originally?
The exact same spot.
Exact same
Yeah,
spot, okay.
yeah. And there'll be a lot of information about the scaled down version in the paper, so everybody will be up to speed on it.
Okay. You guys want copies?
Real good meeting.
Looks great.
And if anybody has any questions, I mean, anybody here, anybody on the board, I don't have all the answers because I'm not the applicant, but I know pretty much, I think, what's going on, so, but call me, anybody can call me anytime.
What did you say, 12, that's 16 million a year? Or what did you say, Amy?
6 to 12.
6 to 12.
Why are
And that's based on the smaller, it's not based on what the application, it's based on what he thinks he can do.
Okay.
Why are they said on having that plant right there? Couldn't they have it to the south? More? Wherever that sand is, I don't know how far south it goes, but that would get it away from the school.
Well, it's got to be close to the road to access the road, and it's tucked back in the hills and the trees, so you won't really see it from the road. And the sand is all wet, so there won't be any dust issue. There's going to be a movie on the facts of fracking on January 22nd. It's called Frac Nation, and I've not seen it, but I've heard about it, and I encourage everybody that has an interest in fracking and why it's we can make this country energy independent. It's on the 22nd of January on the AXS TV station.
And what was the name of it?
Frac Nation.
Frac Nation.
If you Google that, you'll learn a little bit about it.
Okay. Will that be in the paper? About that movie?
Should be.
That should be. That would be a good idea to get that in there.
Yeah, on the scaled down model, how many trucks a day do they figure?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be probably half of what they were talking about before, but now they're going to all be going one direction, so you're still going to have about the same amount of trucks going to the west as there was before. But they have agreed to stay out of Dowling and Boyceville at this point.
How many hours a day are you planning on trucking?
Well, that was approved by the town board, and I think the town board approved 24 hours of trucking, but I think the county board will probably limit that at the board of review, the hours of trucking.
Yeah, that's what zoning told us, that they would probably not go along with what our recommendation is.
The only issue with limiting the hours, and I'm not arguing for or against limiting the hours, all I know is if you limit the hours, you can put more trucks on the road per hour during those hours. So that the roads will be busier during those hours.
So is it 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
I think the trucking was 7 days a week, and the mining was,
Trucking is 6.
or 6, I mean, and the mining was 5. Yes.
I'd like to question if this needs to be on public comment or something that should be an agenda item, maybe for the next meeting, that we can have more questions and answers, and instead of turning into a presentation, or a lot of people in the township obviously weren't aware we're gonna have this major discussion on the sand mine, so at this time I'd like to maybe suggest the idea that this becomes an agenda item. Thank you.
I guess that would be up to you or RJ if Vista wants to make a presentation at the town meeting, or if, I don't.
If you'd like us to, we will do that. There's no secret. It's all public information.
Well, I'm not concerned about the secret, I just, kind of like everybody in the township to be aware that we're gonna discuss it again. And I think that's just kind of a fair way to handle it. Get it on the agenda, get it in the paper, get it, posted, and let's discuss it from there. I've got no problem discussing it.
Personally, if we were going to do that, I'd like to see a postcard sent out to every resident. I don't want the same thing happening here that's going on in Forest.
Yep.
If we're going to put it on the agenda next time, it'd be easy to throw out a postcard that's telling everybody what's going on, so they can't complain that they weren't informed.
And it really doesn't have to be a town board meeting, because there's nothing for the
No,
town
it could
board
be at
to
any
do.
time.
If it would be a repeat informational meeting before the board of review, and we wouldn't have to have it here because it's not an official town meeting. So it would be more of an informational meeting, such as you had in Holy Cross or St. John's. I guess the thing to do would be to talk to RJ and go to the engineering firm and see what we can put together, for a couple hour presentation or an hour presentation, or, kind of an information type meeting. Because at this point, there's really nothing for the board, the town to do. It's going to zoning, it's in zoning's hands.
So the town won't be asked to recommend on this whole new permit series, or?
No,
Okay.
no.
You sure about that? Because Alex said you were.
Yeah, why is that?
Because,
Because it's a whole totally new permit now.
yeah, all they did was revise their permit, okay? So, Alan Denzer, who is the zoning director, said it does not come back to the town board.
Okay.
Vista has to jump through their hoops to get permitted. Jerry did this for me.
Yeah.
And that's the position of the town board, is zoning is the expert.
Wouldn't you guys kind of like to change your opinion, or maybe change some of your recommendations at all, or because they're going a totally different trucking route, different hours of operations? I mean, as a town board, wouldn't you guys rather, because you made some recommendations.
But the route was never, my recommendation was that they didn't go through down in Voice to begin with.
Well, in your recommendations, you recommend that they can go a certain way during certain hours and a certain way during other hours.
And they're not going that way at all now, so. We've turned it over to the county, so that's where it's at. Now, it's a public hearing at county,
Correct.
and anybody can talk and make recommendations to the Board of Adjustments. Okay? So, any town residents has as much right to talk or as we do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I know, I talked to you earlier, and this bridge was gonna be county with G, and you told me this state funding was not to repair any road damage. But I'm just curious, I mean, we're gonna profit on this. They're gonna be profiting on it, and they should pay to keep the road maintained.
You mean Highway 128?
Yeah.
Well, and
Because there's spots on that road that should be repaired right now. And then you know, that kind of weight over it all day long.
and if you look at the fuel tax and the truck licensing, the money that is brought into the state of Wisconsin from those two, there's less than 2/3 of that money that's currently used for road repair. And that's one of Scott Walker's objectives, is to take more of that money and funnel it into road construction and road repair. So, your question to me, is this gonna raise your taxes? And
Well, I mean, they're beating the road to death, you know.
but that's why the tax so high, Dave, for the fuel and the licensing, because of every mile that they put on, they put so much back to the road. So, we had 3 trucks on the road for a while, and the licensing and taxes and things on those is very, very high, and that's the basis for doing that.
That's just the point I'm bringing up.
Right.
If they do it in other states and other counties.
And I don't have the answer, David, and I don't know if St. Croix County Board of Adjustments has anything to say about a state road. I don't know if St. Croix County has anything to say about a state road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I know you told me that they did have the funding because
Yep.
they're not spending it. So.
Yeah, it's been funneled other directions in the
Mine
past.
doesn't fund in my property taxes.
Right, right. And see, one of the things that I approached the state on was that if we put in a $1 million plant in our township, or not millions, I don't know how many million,
I think it's in that 8 to 10.
8 to 10 million. Okay, our township valuation is around 52 million. So if you put in a $10 million plant and you've increased your value by 20%, we can only raise our budget 2.2%. We can only raise our tax levy, we can only raise 2.2% per year, which is very difficult to keep up with paving and maintaining roads when cost of paving a road is now about $120,000 per mile. 10 years ago when I went on the board, it was at 30. So 2.2% doesn't quite keep up with the inflation part of it. So my question to the state was, if we increase our valuation by 20%, can we raise our levy and keep everybody's taxes the same, but raise the levy because of this project, and then use that extra money for, you know, we're behind the curve on paving roads and things. I mean, we're making progress, but we're behind the curve on it, okay? And the state said absolutely not. So, in essence, if you raise your valuation by 20%, and we can only raise our budget, our levy, by 2.2, everybody's taxes should be down in the township. And there's people that argue that with me, but you can't put it on paper, because the math doesn't work.
That plant, that's all gonna be real estate. I heard once that a lot of that is portable to personal property, and it won't raise our renovation.
So, I've toured several of these over the last year, okay, and point of order, just a point of interest rather for everyone here. I got a nasty gram in the mail, and they were accusing me of touring all these plants and turning in all my expenses to the township, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't do that, okay? But in touring these mines and talking to township people, they, in essence, told me it raised their valuation. Okay. Some of there's one part of it that is considered personal property, but the wash plant, basically, or there's not a drying plant here, but the drying plant in Chippewa Falls is considered real estate and it's taxed on the whole thing. Okay. The one in Menominee is, some of that is personal property. The majority of it is considered taxable. The conveyors and hoppers and stuff that's cemented down is considered personal property. Do you have a question?
I was just gonna say Menominee there, that's personal property there. I was gonna make sure you clarified that. 'Cause
Yes.
their big taxes, the property tax, I mean, it is substantial, but their big hitter is the personal property,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's not property tax, it's personal property though.
Yeah.
They approached the board to get 10 years free taxes for coming in here, I think, Walmart.
You do what, Sam?
This, the Sam hasn't approached the town board to get 10 years free taxes.
I mean, like a TIF district? See, we don't have a TIF district. Okay, the city of Glenwood has a TIF district.
Right.
And Menominee has one where Walmart is. Okay, and businesses in Glenwood didn't have to pay property tax because they have a TIF district. We do not. Any other comments or questions?
For clarity, Joe, I guess, seeing how they get another permit, and the town, Glenwood, give recommendations and approve that based upon recommendations, you're just saying that regardless of whatever the permit is, are they asking, I mean, what's, I guess, the Board of Adjustments stating that you guys are still making that recommendation based upon this, or does it matter all if they recommend it or not?
Our recommendation to them was a frac pit in the town of Glenwood. Details has to be approved through Board of Adjustments. Our recommendations that we made to them is simply a recommendation, no different than anybody speaking at the open hearing. Okay?
So basically, you're recommendations and where you're at is pretty much where it stands, and I'm sure the Board of Adjustments assumes the same.
Yep.
That's why they're not asking you for a revisement or any
Correct.
type of input from them.
Correct. If it changed locations, then it would open it
And
up.
revisit it at the table of level.
Yep. Or if it was going to a drying plant, it would change, that would be a different, but it's, nothing has, the concept hasn't changed, and we basically voted on the concept.
When you were talking about taxes and that sort of thing, just a reminder that you did add a 2.5 cent per ton tariff to the township.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so there is something coming to the
Yes.
township.
Yep.
Well, that was a recommendation.
One of our recommendations was 2.5 cent tax. Tariff, whatever. And the Board of Adjustments can say no to that cost. Or they could say 5 cents.
That's all I had under public comment.
Okay. All right. You want to talk to your engineering firm, and let's see if we can set up an informational meeting?
If that's what you'd like to do, it's strictly informational.
Right. It is strictly informational. I think, my personal opinion would be, I think that, I like the idea. I think it's a good idea to present it and, let people understand, currently what's going on. And sometime prior to the 28th.
We'll figure that out.
Okay. That sound good to you guys? Nothing else, we're gonna move along.